Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ted Talks Ball, or I guess, sorry, No BS Ted, collaboration between Ted of Ted Talks Ball and Ryan of No Border Sports, or No BS. Ryan, how you doing today?
Man, done with work. Ain't got to do nothing tomorrow. I should have a new mic coming tonight, and I'll be able to use my soundboards and whatnot, and do all this stuff. A lot of different type of content going to be coming out soon with those bad boys.
Sounds pretty good. So, Ryan, obviously, we had cut down day today for the 49ers. A lot of interesting cuts and keeps, and we should jump in on that. First thing I was going to do is just fix your banner so people know who you are and everything. I'll get that going here in just a second. But what are your initial thoughts on the cut downs today? And any that surprised you? Was it pretty much what you thought would happen? What did you think about? Actually, before we get into that, let's just talk real quick to the audience. We got Jimmy Perez in the house saying, "What's up, Ted and everyone?" What's up, Jimmy? Thanks for joining. Got Carcast in the house. Carcast has his own podcast and YouTube channel, so make sure you check out Carcast. James Durnall coming to us from across the pond saying, "Yo," from the UK.
What up,
Raphael
up,
562niners saying, "What's up, Ryan, Ted, and everyone?" Jimmy Perez saying, "Bang, bang, Niner gang. Love it." James saying, BS is back. And Ted and BS shooting the shit. What do you think of the 53? Yep. Yeah, we're about to jump in on that. Raphael saying, "What up?" And then he's also, of course, wouldn't be Raphael if he didn't say like and subscribe, everyone. And that's a good reminder. Anyone watching on my channel, make sure to like and subscribe on No Border Sports. And same thing if you're on Ryan's channel, make sure to check me out and like and subscribe for Ted Talks Ball as well. So
James did that. James did that last week. He was on the show with us last week, and then I swear every other show I had since today, he's been popping in like on every single show, whether it's even my show or not. He's been in Corey's and Bryant's and all that. So shout out to James. Appreciate you supporting everybody. And Raphael, he's always there.
Raphael's amazing, no doubt about it. I'm still working on your banner, but at least I've got something going for now until I can add your Twitter handle in there too. But it won't be long and I'll get it all the way squared away. But
don't worry, next week we'll have a graphic and it'll just have that already set up.
Oh, perfect. Oh, you're nice. That's right. You're a designer. So yeah, get on that, man. What are you doing?
Hey, I just finished my intro for the rivalry with Joe Stevens and started did our thumbnail template. So watch out. Tomorrow you'll see the new intro. It's pretty badass, actually. Kind of pretty badass.
Nice.
Don't get you pumped for a 49ers Seahawks rivalry show. I don't know what will.
Speaking of the Seahawks, they're one of the teams that might steal Jack Coletto from us. I saw Seahawks, Jets, I think Dolphins, Texans, and Chiefs are all likely teams to steal Jack Coletto. Of course, was cut today. Someone a lot of us like, call him the Jack of all trades, coming out of Oregon, or was it Oregon State? I think he's Oregon State. But
yeah,
he did some good stuff for us in the preseason. I'll be sad to see him go if he does get swiped. Let's see here. Raphael says, "Who's getting cut with Bosa signs?"
That's a great question.
I think it's. I think it's Austin
Bryant.
Let's
get into the. Let's get.
Or Kerry Hyder. It's one of the guys that they cut.
Kerry Hyder's already been cut.
Well, I know, but they're supposed to bring back Kerry Hyder and Austin Bryant once Danny Gray and Latu go to IR because they can't
Speaking of
cut Danny
Latu,
Gray and Latu safely until
so I understand. I understand. You, why do we have Charlie Warner on the team still? We could have keeping Fumagalli, who was
I
actually
wanted
doing stuff. He could
Fumagalli.
catch balls. Oh my God, it's so
I
stupid.
think Charlie Warner. I think it's special teams, Ryan. I think it's special teams,
Dude,
and I think same thing with Warren Burks,
wait. It's special
and same
teams.
thing
So
with
why is
Dwelly.
he penciled in as tight end 2 if it's only because of special teams?
Well, I think because Braden Willis is a rookie.
Yeah, no, I get that. And look, I totally get that. But Ross the Boss is more of a tight end 2 other than blocking. You know what I mean? If you're talking about, it's so stupid. This is so stupid. We know what we're getting with Charlie Warner. Fumagalli could have been a nice guy to kind of switch things up a bit and actually have some talent in that position. You know, obviously Ross can catch all the balls, but Fumagalli can block and he can catch. He's doing work all over the field. Like, why do we? So stupid. So stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I thought one or both of them might be gone, but obviously Latu injuring his meniscus made that less likely. Um,
So
it doesn't make a lot of
do you,
sense.
do you know what's up with Talanoa Funga?
He has a Baker cyst on his knee, and a
You
Baker
know what a
cyst it's on the back of
Baker
your
comes
knee,
from? And what is it caused by?
and some kind of knee injury, typically meniscus injury.
Yeah, it could
So it's
be
more of a
meniscus. It
symptom
could
than the
also
injury
be
itself.
Yes, it's an overworking of things. It's your body is producing the lubricant of the knee. So it's usually a torn meniscus and like, when did this happen? That's what I want to know. Can't remember. When did we just hear about? Did we just hear about this? Yeah. So it could, like, some of the treatments are like, they inject steroid into the front of the knee because that's where the issue is. They'll drain it out the back of the knee, and then you pretty much don't do anything for 2 weeks. So your knee's not like producing any of that liquid. It doesn't feel the need to produce any of that liquid. And it kind of, I guess, I'm guessing the steroids fixes the problem with the meniscus, and then you not doing anything resets your calibration, as far as how much to produce of the lubricant. So this could be something big.
Yeah, it could be a meniscus.
You
It
know what
could
I'm
be
saying?
4 to 6 weeks if it's a minor meniscus, and if it's the meniscus repair, it could put him out for most of the season.
Mm-hmm. So just want people to understand that.
The Niners are saying it's not serious, but they always say that. So, hard to know if it's real or not.
Yeah. So the fluid
Jim?
behind the kneecap isn't serious necessarily. So what happens is if it bursts, it will go down the in between the muscle and the skin and will inflame up your calf. So it's just it's a like you said, it's a consequence of an injury, but you have to be able to, oh, what up, Panama Queen? You got to be able to nip it in the butt, or else it's just going to lead to more stuff. And you also have to fix what caused it. So if you didn't fix what caused it, and they have to go in usually and do things sometimes. If the steroid won't work, which also he's an NFL player, so I don't think he can take steroids.
I think it's different. I think you can use steroids as an
If it's signed off by a
anti-inflammatory.
doctor.
Yeah, I think it's different if you inject it into a joint to reduce inflammation than if you inject it into your ass to make you superhumanly strong. So it's two different uses of steroids. One because it doesn't get into your bloodstream when you put it into the joint. So that's why it's a little bit different.
Oh,
So James Durnall was asking, he had a question I probably want to get to before we get buried. Do these cuts help with cap space or does it not really affect it? Well, the cuts could help with cap space if we had cut guys that had larger cap hits, like, say, Oren Burks or Isaiah Oliver, but we didn't cut guys like that. So I think everybody that we cut was kind of league minimum type guys that don't help the cap at all. Don't help with cap relief at all. What do you agree with that,
facts.
Ryan?
Totally.
Just want to make sure I was not
To
talking out my
you would
arse.
have you would have saved more money going with some of the guys they cut that we appreciated than the guys that we didn't want them to keep and they did.
Yeah,
So
and we'll get
that's
to that. We'll tease that for a minute. Um, James said Kalia Davis, the bottom of the pecking order, wouldn't get cut for Bosa. Yeah, Kalia Davis is one who might get cut. Kinlaw is another who might get cut. And then the two I mentioned already, Austin Bryant or Kerry Hyder. But I feel like Kerry Hyder played pretty well in the preseason. So I think Kerry Hyder's
I
pretty safe, oddly
I
enough,
think if
for
they
a guy
were
who's been
gonna
cut so many times.
cut Kinlaw for Bosa, I think they would already have done it. He would have been cut
Okay.
today.
We got Shaw show
Yeah.
in the house. We did a show earlier with him while these announcements were being made. Anshul Shah. Thanks, Anshul, for joining.
What
Again,
up,
appreciate you
Shaw?
being here in the audience. Got Mariah Faith Bully in the house saying, "Yo, what's up, Mariah? Hope you're
Got a
doing
show with
well."
her tonight at 6 o'clock on
There you
49er
go.
Minded's channel. So make sure you tune in. She may or may not
Nice.
be there. She
Maybe
not necessarily
maybe a
feeling
bash
too well,
rant
but
tonight.
oh, there might be a bash rant tonight. I know I know I want to just yell and curse. I still haven't gotten over the Trey Lance shit. Like I
No, me
want to
neither.
like
And we'll get to all that too. But let's start with draft or cut down day stuff, and then we'll close with the fun stuff, the fireworks. Panama Queen says usually that type of injury happens when a prior injury never healed. Interesting. There you go. And James Durnall says you can under doctor's orders. Yeah, exactly. It's a different application of steroids, like I said, where you put it in the joint than when you put it into the bloodstream. Definitely very very different effects on the body too. One is like localized, um, you know, inflammation reduction is the best way to put it, or anti-inflammatory, kind of like ibuprofen, what ibuprofen does. And when you stick it into your bloodstream or into the fat that goes into your bloodstream, then it's more like HGH, human growth hormone, where it gives you more strength, gives you a competitive advantage, a PED or performance enhancing drug, if you will. Prius Game in the house saying hi, Ted. What's up, Prius Game? Welcome. And I can't believe Jalen Moore. Yeah, Jalen Moore is a little frustrating, but I can kind of understand him more than Matt Pryor, who we just got off the street and who is a good pass blocker, but doesn't fit our zone run scheme blocking at all. And John Feliciano, well, I can see John Feliciano because he's versatile. He can play center guard, even has played some tackle. So I get that versatility trying to replace Brunskill, but I don't think he's as good as Brunskill. And no, the one that I don't get is Nick Zakel, who was just ass
ass.
Von ass in the preseason. If he wasn't holding, he was getting blown by. So many holding penalties and so many whiffed
Just
blocks.
horrible. And not only
Horrible.
that, but if you look, he's he's the guard. He's our backup guard.
Yeah,
He's
I
our
know.
backup guard, everybody.
No, we have no depth after the, which is so strange that we kept 9 guys when
Well,
really
I
none of the
guess you have
4.
Feliciano, but still, I'm not gonna plug a guard position with my backup center. 49ers did
Yeah,
it last year sometimes with a Brunskill, but I don't think that's very smart.
maybe you should have a backup center who isn't a converted center. Actually is used to snapping the ball, so that your backup centers don't have snapping issues like we had all through camp and joint practices and preseason games. Terrible stuff. Any cuts we aren't happy about. Seemed to be a sin to cut any of these middle linebackers. Well, we did. We cut 2. We cut
Yeah, there was a sin not to cut.
we,
Why do
we,
we have
we
one
cut
of
Marcelino
those?
McCrary Ball, and we cut Curtis Robinson. And I think
Mm-hmm.
pretty much most people are fine with that. I think we were hoping maybe that we might trade Demetrius Flanagan Fowles or Oren Burks. Clearly we're
I
keeping
don't
Dre and
like
Fred.
I don't like Burks. Burks doesn't
Yeah,
do anything for me. I'd rather get Young at the position. Fuck him.
just the
I don't
special
care about
teams. It's
special
just,
teams. I don't care about the
yeah.
special teams. It wasn't doing anything for us last year when supposedly it was like a major focus. You know what I mean? Like things weren't showing up on tape last year when it came to special teams for the most part consistently. The only thing that did was maybe the kickers, the punter and the kicker, both were consistent for the most part. I think Mish had his best year ever. But when it came to everybody else doing their jobs on special teams, it was not good. I didn't like it. I think we should start playing some of our starters in special teams and start kicking people's asses. It to me that we're not getting the effect that we want out of the stuff we've done, so we got to crank it up a notch. And yeah.
So for me, cuts I was not happy with. I actually really wanted Conley, the receiver. I felt like he was better than Danny Gray. I felt like he was our best receiver besides Ronnie Bell, besides the core 3. So I thought Conley could have made it in a 5-man roster. Instead, he didn't make it on a 6-man wide receiver roster.
I don't understand
Deshaun
why.
Jameson, it's a big mistake to cut him. He's a good corner and a really good returner. And then
That
Quantrez
was
Knight,
so
I think, was a
stupid.
mistake. Quantrez Knight, I think, is better than, at least so far, better than Isaiah Oliver. But Isaiah Oliver has
Yep.
a big guaranteed contract, so he got kept.
Yeah. They're so itching to pay him that money when nobody saw anything from Isaiah Oliver all training camp long. But Steve Wilkes, I hope Isaiah Oliver is healthy all year long and that he comes up clutch continually. Because
Well, the good news is I don't think he's going to start. I mean, it sounds like it's
no,
going to
I know
be,
he's not going to start. I'm just saying for him to be on this team,
yeah,
somebody
taking
who
up a roster spot.
somebody who didn't even show us anything. Never once were we
Yeah.
like, oh, dang, that's why we brought Isaiah Oliver in here. Nobody yet has had that thought go through their head. And for him to be on this team for all that money when we could have just gotten cheaper. Like Quantrez Knight could play safety, he could play slot, he could play outside, like nickel. Like let it makes no sense to me. There's a lot of Panama Oliver stinks. Oh wait, I wanted to address something real quick. Hey, Prius gang, I'm sorry. No, I didn't switch teams like you go into the Raiders, bro. Just I'm still a Niners fan.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Niners fan. I'm just not a fan of Kyle anymore, is all. Until Kyle wins his
Yeah.
first ever Super Bowl, I'm no longer a fan of Kyle Shanahan. I'll still root for the team. I'll root for Purdy. I just don't think Purdy's good enough to get it done. And I think we made a big mistake going with Darnold at QB2 when he didn't earn it. Kyle just installed him.
Yeah,
So team
he didn't
Twitter,
do
you mean
shit.
You mean Team Jimmy Stan turned Lance hater is who this guy is. We know who you are, dude.
It's like Sam Darnold got in the building. Sam Darnold got in the building, and Kyle took him aside and said, "Hey, look, okay, so this is the deal. You're going to be QB2. All I need you to do is anytime anybody can see you throwing, I need you to just take the easy route. Okay, don't try to wow us with anything because it doesn't look good. So just dink and dunk, okay, and then you'll have number 2, and yeah, we'll get Trey out of here."
Alan Shore was saying El Manning was the most surprising to him. Yeah, I would have rather had El Manning than Pryor for sure. Maybe even more than Jalen Moore too. But yeah, no, it's surprising. I think part of it is he's a little undersized to play
all of our
tackle. He's only 6'2", so that's part of it. I think. Dave Villa says Niners best in the world.
I know that John Lynch says this, or I think it was John Lynch said statistically that there's certain people who are just better with a certain amount of arm length. Yeah, okay. But there's still other people that get to those levels without that. And they just think that, oh, you got this arm length, so you got the potential to be there. Just because you have the arm length doesn't mean you have the potential. It's all everything else you do with it. And Jalen Moore has got slow ass feet. It doesn't matter how long your arms are, or how tall you are, if you got slow ass feet and you can't put yourself in between the edge rusher and your quarterback. That's his biggest downfall. It's so fucking stupid. But hey,
yeah,
way to go. Good shit, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, James, these are like guys that I think could have been cut and put on the practice squad. And, you know, you're not risking much, especially with Zakel and Matt Pryor, who was off the street. Like, let those guys go. Save the room for Jameson and Quantrez Knight, or Il Manning, as Anshul mentioned, would have been a good option. Damian Lee's mad about Coletto, but it will be another DJ Reed mistake. Yeah, Coletto looks really good. Did he get signed? Is that what happened? I mean, I'm assuming he will if he hasn't already. So Bash in the house.
What up, Bashar? Shout out to everybody. If you want to catch us later, the Bring the Heat podcast, it will be on Bashar 49er Minded's channel. So that'll be 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Long arms are overrated. I mean, I guess, but not for offensive tackles. I mean, that's why they moved Joey Fisher inside. So
yeah.
And James was saying the best of a bad bunch. I guess I just think Il Manning was probably better than some of the guys we kept, but frustrating.
You got to understand, they move people inside not necessarily because they're play, because of what they believe. You know, you understand? It's their process that puts him into a guard, which all they do is draft guards, and then we walk around holding on to pieces of shit like Jalen Moore, and then searching on the bargain bin for people like Pryor because we're too fucking cheap. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just so stupid. We are going to see Sam Darnold under center this year.
Yeah,
because the cheap ass fucking O-line fucking shit.
Oh. Got Runa in the house. He's glad to see that Lance made the roster. I think it was pretty obvious, Runa, when they traded a fourth, that they weren't going to cut him. But yeah, I mean, at least they were smart enough to do that. Real quick, I just wanted to go back up to Prius Game, who we know who that is. If you don't know who that is, it's and I'm blanking on his handle, but Amarillo, Adam, the liar. He lies in his bio. He lies on the timeline. He's just a liar, Lance hater, jagoff. So welcome to the show, but can you go tell your little team Twitter, team twat heads that what are you guys going to do now that there's no Lance to hate on? I mean, see, even you have to have your Cowboys comments. We're clearly Niners fans. We were Niners fans before Lance got here. We'll be Niners fans long after. The question is, are you a Niners fan? or are you just a Lance hater? That's the big question.
No.
And a Jimmy
If you
lover.
didn't know,
And a Jimmy
there,
lover.
see, this is what you're missing. Their chapstick is
All
Jimmy
the
G cock flavored.
well, and then
You get that
Damien had
right.
a good one here. Time to start monkey swinging branching from Kyle. Same thing from Jimmy. Time to start monkey branching from Jimmy too. They're all monkeys swinging on Jimmy's. I'm not going to say it, but guys are terrible. Bash says we never bothered to draft or sign a quality tackle. Yeah, Daewon Jones looking like the right play. Signed trade for Daewon or draft Daewon Jones and sign Robbie Gould instead of Moody. I think we'd be way ahead of the game right now. Even if he
It's
doesn't start over McKivitz, he'd be much better depth than Jalen
right.
Moore or
You could have McKivitz start the season, and
Matt
then
Pryor.
if he takes off, then you could just swap him out, and then you've got a swing tackle in McKivitz. You know what I'm saying?
Sam Darnott.
Supposedly he's so good, right? So he'd be a great swing tackle, and you could get rid of Jalen fucking Moore.
Werner says he's on Team Lance until he hangs his boots up. All right, well, hopefully Lance doesn't play against us week 5 or in the playoffs. That'd be tough on a lot of Niners fans for sure.
Oh my
He's
god!
just saying what's up. David Corona in the house.
I would just
What's up,
stare
David?
at the side of Kyle's head the whole time until he looked at me, and he could see my look of displeasure. Just yes, the look of distaste, disdain
in the house. What's up, Joey?
What up, Joey?
Damn, Ryan Chapstick. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'd be having cold sweats if I was McKivitz. Week 1 versus TJ Watt. Wouldn't want to be that dude. Yeah, it's not just TJ Watt, too. It's Alex Highsmith, their other D end, just got the 10th richest edge contract in the NFL.
Not just that, they also drafted a guy who's consistent. What's his name? Hedrig or whatever. It was one guy who was always there at 99 when we were doing our mock drafts. Can't remember what school he was out of. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that guy is taken off too. Plus, this is the other thing. I don't know if you guys went back and watched the Steelers preseason games, but they played a lot of starters and they played them farther into the game than anybody else. And they looked good. They have a lot of turnovers as far as interception and fumbles. So to me, they're the better team. No matter like players wise, I'm talking about ready to play. They're the better team right now. And I've seen it. So we'll see if the 49ers, because our offensive line, not only are we talking about how horrible the depth is, but it's not like our offensive line is fully clicking out there. And it won't be probably until week 3 to 5. So we've got a hill to climb week 1. And I hope everybody's in for that trek. Nick Herbig. There we go. Joey.
Herbig.
Yep.
James Journal wants to know if there's anyone interesting on the waivers wire that the Niners should pick up.
Oh, I don't know.
Bailey Zappi.
I don't.
And the one from the Cowboys, too. What's their third string QB that Lance took his spot?
I'm not even looking for a third. I'm looking for offensive linemen. That's who I'm looking for. Offensive linemen. That's all and sign fucking Nick Bosa.
Jr. Carcass says.
I'm sorry. I'm cursing a lot right now. It's just
the Steelers are always prepared. They're 15-1 in their last 16 season openers. So,
really quick, anybody in the chat, if you haven't already, we appreciate it if you would switch over to the other show and give a like and subscribe if you haven't, and vice versa. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, if you're watching on a browser, open up 2 tabs and watch both shows at once. Or if you're on a phone, grab a tablet, do 2 devices at once. It really helps us out. Appreciate it. Randy Daytona in the house. Just what I heard. He said traded Nick
So
Bosa. Messing with the.
let's talk about this real quick. Should the 49ers go out and sign Robbie Gould?
Yes. I mean,
Huh.
not for a couple games, but maybe for the whole season and just scrap the whole Moody experience. Will Greer is the backup QB from the Cowboys who got cut. But he'll have to go through about 28 or 29 teams on waivers before we would even get a chance. So good luck for that.
I would say that the 49ers wouldn't just scrap the whole Jake Moody experience, but right now, from what I know from all these past moves, especially the one this last week, who knows? They just don't give a shit anymore. They just do whatever the hell they feel they want to do. They don't feel like there's any sort of consequences for their actions.
You know why, Ryan? Because if you say anything negative about Kyle, every idiot on Twitter just goes, "Oh, do you want to go back to Tom Sula and Chip Kelly? Go be a Cowboys fan if you don't want to support Kyle's every stinking move."
You could do other things too, like when he messes up, you can fine his ass money. You can.
That'd be awesome.
Hit him where it hurts. Let him know that he's not a prima donna and that he has to be accountable for his actions. Also, John Lynch let him facilitated this essentially by not breaking his foot off in Kyle's ass, going, "Why the hell isn't our 3rd overall pick out on the field?" And not taking any of Kyle's bullshit when he gives him an excuse and actually looking into it more and going
no one
around
on the
Kyle.
team to tell Kyle no.
Yep. Not even
all
Jed.
yes people. Yes, Kyle. Yes, Kyle. Great idea, Kyle. You're the best,
I'm not
Kyle.
scared of Tom Sula. I'm not scared of Tom Sula. Jed's scared of Tom Sula.
Yeah.
Because Tom Sula was us trying. Okay. I don't know if everybody who's watching remembers New Coke, but New Coke was a big disaster that almost tanked Coca-Cola altogether. And that's why Coca-Cola Classic came out. It wasn't Coca-Cola Classic before New Coke came out. It was Coca-Cola Classic afterwards, because I was trying to let everybody know this ain't New Coke. This is the old Coke. And
we're so sorry. We'll never do it again.
The person that came up with the New Coke idea got his bonus because he made a daring move. So they appreciated him just for trying. So things happen. You could take risks. It's okay to take risks. Where were they at in the team right then? They had just made bad decision with getting rid of Harbaugh, and they were trying to find somebody who could bring the team together after kind of a rocky couple years, huh? So they were trying to go with somebody who worked with the team or was good with the team and the players. So I can see why they went there. That doesn't mean it was the best decision, but you don't know that until you try it. Chip Kelly was probably a worse one. You should have known that his offense and his style of offense wasn't going to work correctly.
Tom Sula looks like Ron Jeremy.
Yes, he does.
The hedgehog. Classic brown chicken, brown cow.
Didn't Ron Jeremy go to jail?
Probably.
Yeah.
Randy always respects Bash's opinions. Good. What about the rest of us, Randy? Come on.
Oh, hey,
Ryan, the Coca-Cola expert.
I got another fact, a Coke fact for you. Real G's, they don't drink Pepsi. They just sell Coke.
Boom. Damien wanted Fangio over Ron Jeremy, a.k.a. Tom Sula. Somebody had a funny thing about his name. Why does old Charles Edward Kelly go Chip? Isn't that a nickname for a 5-year-old? Yeah, Chip is like it's a name for for junior, right? Chip off the old block. I think that's what it comes from. And then
It's the name
Trip
of the little
is for
teacup
the
in Beauty and the
third.
Beast.
Trip or Trey is for the third. I mean, ultimately, like with the whole Chip Kelly, Tom Sue, like if you decide, here's my thing. If you decide that we're never going to win a Super Bowl with Kyle, then a step back to move forward is fine with me. You know what I mean? It's like, or risking a step back to move forward is fine with me because you may
Right.
not move back or you might move back, but eventually move forward. Once you decide Kyle's never going to get it done, then he's got to go, in my opinion. That's the way I feel about it.
So
I'm not
if
there yet,
would you
but like
rather have
I'm getting there. Like
20 years of going to an NFC championship every 3 or 4 years and never getting a Super Bowl? Or would you rather do that for like 5, 6, 7 years, start over, and by year 18 have a coach that's on its way and have a Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand, like, you can be scared of losing something so much that you're never able to capture what you were actually looking for.
James Bernal says Tom Sewell was the fall guy for inmate York's poor decision with Harbaugh. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing about Tom Sewell and Chip Kelly, is they were also the victims of Balky. So like it's not like they stepped into a roster like what we have here. They could probably step into this roster and do pretty well. So now I do give credit to Kyle for building the roster, but there is no franchise quarterback. Maybe Purdy will become that. I have my doubts. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's really difficult for Purdy to be a great quarterback, being limited height, limited arm, and limited top speed. Also limited throwing chart. If you look at his throwing chart, it's like all green to the left, all yellow down the middle, and all red to the right. Not too difficult for a DC to look at that and figure out how to limit that type of throwing. So yeah, I think it's this year. If we're too good of a team to develop Trey Lance, then we better be good enough to win a freaking Super Bowl right now. That's it. There's just no two ways about it. You can't have it both ways. And I'm tired of the excuses, and I'm tired of people, being apologists for Kyle, who like clearly doesn't want a franchise QB, or they don't want him. But one way or the other, we're not getting a franchise QB with Kyle unless Purdy turns into one, and maybe he will. I just don't see it. Didn't see it last year, and maybe he'll get better. But the injury to his throwing elbow means he probably isn't going to get better this year, folks. I hate to tell you, because of the injury and because of having to take days off and reps off, and chances of re-injuring it are probably a lot higher. So
I don't know about the re-injuring, but what I do know is that we haven't seen him throw some of the throws that he was able to throw last year yet.
Well, he tried in camp, and they were all long and short in camp. But yeah, we haven't seen it in preseason. Since the preseason games, it's all been dink and dunk with Purdy.
Yep.
Nothing but dink and dunk. And I didn't call him that before the preseason games. I avoided dink and dunk because I didn't think he was. But that's all he's shown us in preseason is dink and dunk. So
see that when I can't remember who came out and called him dink and dunk. I think it was Ryan Hensley.
It was Ryan Hensley, yeah.
So I don't agree
the
with
other
that.
Ryan.
I don't agree with that stereotype on Brock Purdy for last year whatsoever. The reason being is he clearly was making throws farther than what we call dink or dunking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was making a lot of those 10 to 19 yard throws. He has 80% in 10 to 19 yard throws.
The issue is we're still seeing a lot. It's not far enough to get away from the single high safety, aka 8 in the box, which causes us to have issues sometimes in the running game. So to me, like he's not necessarily dink and dunk, but you get the same effect from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't think it was fair, but at the same time, you're seeing the same stuff when you look out.
Real quick, Damien said Ryan looks like a root beer guy. Are you more root beer than Coke, Ryan?
Oh yeah, I'd rather have a root beer. My favorite soda would be like cream soda. Every once in a while, I get me a good cream soda. Oh, you can take it however you want.
Pause.
My
Sorry, I had to get it.
no,
Hey,
we're
wait,
good.
but also James Bernal had a classic here. He said Tom Sula's fart was more explosive than Chip Kelly's offense. F that guy. That was funny. Sorry, you're saying
Well,
cream soda. What else?
like,
What do you think about like
cream soda.
Jarritos pineapple?
No, we'll go
Or
with the that thing. I love a good Fresca or Squirt. Uh, one of my favorites. I like real grapes, but I love grapefruit. So,
you're kind of coming
Barks
in
are
and
great.
out here.
Oh,
All right, Barks. Okay, there you go. There you go.
yeah, I'm not a
I'd
Barks
say
guy, but
my favorite would probably be like
I like
Sprite
it.
and Fanta Fruit Punch mixed together.
Okay.
Yeah, not really out of one container, probably. Crazy Juice, everyone called him that. LOL. I don't know where I am anymore. I am chat lagged. There's a lot of chat going on. Oh, because he's switching back and forth. Thanks, Randy. We appreciate it. Kyle's the Mark
Appreciate
Jackson of the
that,
Niners.
Randy.
We need our Steve Kerr. Oh, that's a good one. Except for Steve brought the defense to the Warriors. We need someone to bring the franchise QB, but I like that analogy. And
Like,
also,
if you
Mark Jackson
look at
didn't win many playoff games. What's up?
what Sean McVay did to win his Super Bowl, he broke away Kyle's. He had to throw, so he ran the ball just enough to be able to throw, and that's how he won his Super Bowl.
Interesting.
To
Wow, the
me,
chat is
because
going bananas. You might want to pop out and pop back in, Ryan.
you got it.
If we aren't careful, Seattle will win the division. Absolutely. They're right on our heels. Compared Sam to Steve Young, so Purdy, go Super Bowl or get Kyle out. All right, let me fix this. Yeah, Purdy is not Montana. Montana played in a different era. There are no elite quarterbacks like Montana now. They're all big and strong with big arms and typically fast too. Super Mario Brothers 2-yard passes to Debo. You need to challenge the safeties. Exactly. You got to get the safeties back out of the box. Then you got to make one of the guys left in the box spy the quarterback, so you can have like 11 on 9 essentially instead of 10 on 11. Fernandez says Purdy will get hurt if Kyle continues to do the 7-step drop back. Yeah, that was looking pretty ugly in the preseason for not just for Purdy, but for Lance. And I believe Darnold too, but I know Lance had a few. Anshul says Kyle doesn't want to put more film out there. That's why Purdy was dinking and dunking. Okay, I guess. I think it's also that he doesn't trust Purdy to make those throws right now. And hopefully he'll be ready by week 1. You never know. I have Ted Talks beating Kyle in 3 rounds in a boxing match. Oh yeah, Kyle would not want to step in the ring with me. I'm like 6 foot 310. It just wouldn't be a fair fight. You got to have close to even weights for boxing, unless he could just stay away from me the whole time and just wear me out. Who knows? Let's see here. Bash saying, "Oh, welcome to Fernando." Still dumb. The league will still find out no matter what. That's why Kyle has to adjust. Yeah, that's exactly right. And you got to challenge deep to keep guys out of the box. You can win games that way. You can make some noise in the playoffs that way. But I'm pretty sure to beat the Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, Bengals, the top teams in the NFL, it really helps if you can challenge their defense deep. Just opens up the yak and opens up the running underneath. Who's media? LOL. people don't forget, Anshul. You're 49ers media for a long 49er media for a long time. All right, catch you later. Take care, Fernando. Good to see you. Randy says, I know it sounds crazy, but my chips are on Nick being treated like Defo. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess a trade's not out of the question. Just seems like they would have probably tried to do it sooner. I think the deal's already in place, and they were just waiting for today for the cut downs. Having Bosa not signed gives them one more spot to play with while they get guys to IR and to their other spots, and maybe a chance to trade somebody after the dust settles after the cut down day. I think that's what's happening. I hope that's what's happening, but obviously I don't have any proof of that. And every day that passes from here on out starts to get more and more worrisome. Kevin McCulligan had a good tweet yesterday or on Sunday, and he said, oh, well, if Purdy's the real deal and Darnold's the best throw of a football we've ever had on the team, and there's a few other things that dumb things that Kyle had said that aren't true this offseason. If all that's true, then maybe we don't need Nick Bosa to win the Super Bowl. If Kyle believes the crap that he's peddling to us, then that would explain why there's not much urgency to sign Bosa. And I was like, God, that's a great tweet. I think I saved it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I also want to stay current on all the comments so people don't feel like they're missing out on the two different channels here. And I wonder if I didn't save it to my. Yeah, I don't think I did. All right, I'll come back and check. What else we got? 2-year window, I swear. Yeah, I'm down to 1 year personally this year. They're running out of excuses. Yep, they are. Yeah, I agree. Kyle's on his own. I think Ryan is coming back. He might be restarting his computer, maybe. It was getting awfully slow and pixelating. They're in, Ted, all the chips. Well, I think to be all in, we would need more O-line depth and another defensive end. We would need our Von Miller, like what the Rams did in 2021 when they won the Super Bowl. At Von Miller, Sony Michel, and OBJ. So I think we need a right tackle, a defensive end, maybe like a lockdown corner, something like that. Kyle will not bend to anyone's will. That's right, because he doesn't have to. Nobody will force him to. We have fans that are perfectly fine with us being a charity for the Miami Dolphins. They're happy we gave them those picks for nothing. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we're all talking about Kyle needs to win one now or next year or whatever your time frame is from here on out. But like, why aren't we looking at the ones we didn't win in the last couple of years in 2022 and 2021 when we could have had Micah Parsons and also the two firsts and the third that we traded in addition to number 12 overall? Like, wouldn't we have won a Super Bowl by now or two if we had done that? So I think it's not just looking at the future with Kyle we need to do. I think we need to examine the past and say, what opportunities have we missed? I've had people tell me, oh, it didn't hurt us. I'm like, what do you mean it didn't hurt us? Like, we didn't win a ring, then it didn't hurt us. Like, you can't say it didn't hurt us unless we had won a ring. Oh, wow. I'm trying to add Ryan back here, but there we go. Wow, that was freaky. All right, how you doing, Ryan? Oh, he's gone. Yeah, it was weird. When I tried to click him in, it looked different than I've ever seen it when I've clicked somebody in. Although I don't click a lot of people into shows that are already going. So hopefully he'll be back soon. James said, I think Bosa is waiting for the Chris Jones contract. This contract is about as much ego as it is money. Yeah. Um, that's been said a lot that, yeah, he wants to see what Chris Jones gets, which would assumably be more than what Aaron Donald got, which then Bosa could say, okay, now pay me that plus a little bit more. So that could very well be part of it. If it isn't the situation where I said where it's already in place and they're just waiting for these roster juggling to be concluded. Randy saying Drake needs to become Vaughn. Yeah, he does, but that'll probably take a few years. He only played half a season last season. Probably take 2 to 3 years total. So I just don't know that we can count on it this season. Love it if it happens, but not counting on it. I would just say it was the worst pick of my lifetime. It's one of the worst picks ever. I mean, obviously, the Herschel Walker trade, trading Herschel Walker to the Vikings when the Cowboys got all those picks in the '90s was huge. The Niners trading Charles Haley to the Dallas Cowboys was a really bad trade. But this one was really bad, and also then trading him to the Cowboys could turn out to be Charles Haley 2.0 in a bad way. I've been saying that I thought Hargrave to the Niners could be Charles Haley 2.0 in a good way, where he could end up being an Eagles killer for us. Even though it wasn't a trade, it was just technically we signed him. But yeah, if Lance ends up beating us, like say if he were to beat us in the playoffs, can you imagine what that would be like? Just doomsday scenario for sure. Worst possible outcome. Kyle and D'Amico are on the phone right now. Interesting. Ryan went to go get a root beer. Yeah, something. Drake seems sneaky good on screens. Yeah, he's got quite a few tip balls, and he almost intercepted that one against. I guess it was against the Chargers. So yeah, Drake is he's real good with tipping balls, and there's a lot to like. I'm just saying, Von Miller was a difference maker at defensive end, a known difference maker rather than a hopeful difference maker. I think Drake will be improved, but I'm not sure how improved he will be. Yeah, I think we got to just wait and see. And Randy says, I blocked that out, Ted. Thanks. I think Drake might be the best option we have right now. The number of 1v1s he'll get this year would be ridiculous on a good. Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it that, that with Hargrave and Armstead will take up a lot of attention. If we can ever sign Bosa, obviously he will too. But that's the worry is, I mean, I think we're almost at a point now where we need to sign a defensive end in case the Bosa holdout continues or trade for a defensive end. I think, it'd be good to have when Bosa gets back and good to have in case Bosa doesn't get back. I mean, incredible to have. That's, we have not much in the way of defensive ends without Bosa. How do you make a Drake? How to make a Drake Jackson T-shirt that says "Tip balls"? Balls. Have to make, not how to make. Yeah. No, I think that would be a hot seller for sure. So I'm not sure what happened with Ryan. Let me see if I've got a DM from him. He said reset his connection and now he can't get back in. Let me just try sending him the link. Weird. James says, I don't think it would waste draft capital when you can just drop money on Bosa's lap. We've wasted so many trades. I don't think they would have the balls. Yeah, it's also a negotiating tactic of like, hey, well, we've got this player, and we're not so at your mercy that we have to give you every penny that you want. But yeah, it's probably not likely. Isaiah Oliver's like a coworker comes to work late and goes home and drinks beer at work and doesn't get fired. I don't know if it's that bad. But it's somebody that Wilkes wanted. He's a Wilkes guy, and Wilkes pounded the table for Jair Brown. That seems to be going well. So I guess we'll just have to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that if he likes him, that it will work out at some point. I don't know what to do about Ryan. I don't think if I leave, I'm afraid the show will end. Let me just DM it real quick. See if I can find that tweet that I had the other day. Ryan locked himself in the basement where the root beer cellar is. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but I think maybe, unless he gets back soon, it might be good just to end it, and maybe we can start another show if we have time, although I'm running out of time before my daddy duty anyway. Oh, here we go. So the tweet I liked from Kevin McCulligan was, 49ers have the real deal and the next Drew Brees. That's Purdy. And the best thrower of football we've ever had in Darnold in the quarterback room. And the best play caller in the NFL, Kyle. In that case, we shouldn't need Nick Bosa. It's like, I kind of get the feeling like that's what they're thinking. All right, so Ryan can't get back in. All right, stay away from the line. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but these things happen. And I'll just say peace and go Niners.